All right, all right. Welcome to another Authority Brand Builder Pro member entrepreneur interview. Remember, these interviews don't really have to be, it's not even really an interview, it's just really a conversation. These interviews they don't have to be initially be an entrepreneur. You can, other people you guys who's gonna watch this video, you guys can jump in and at any time, set up a conversation with me just to kind of have a dialogue, see what you got going on, see even if you don't have a business, see what your ideas is. You don't have to necessarily share what the particular business that you want to, start. But a lot of people, you guys like, I don't want to talk about it because it's a clothing business, bro. It's a clothing business. Hey, everybody got a clothing business. You're not
Yeah.
doing anything that somebody's not already doing. But I get it if it's like a trademark, like I'm inventing
Yeah.
this particular like AI to do something and you don't want people to have that idea. But the thing about ideas though is everybody great they always say, right? Great minds think alike. So the difference between that, I want to drop a little gem before we get started. Speaking on that, is that great minds think alike, but those who take action first are the ones who end up capitalizing on that idea. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Airbnb was an idea that somebody else had. Taxi service, that was an idea, right? And then
Yeah.
somebody had an idea of how to create a taxi service without actually owning the cars. And here you have Lyft and Uber and things of that nature, right? So something
Hmm.
that you can make money off of and not actually own the actual asset. So, you
Yeah.
know, this for just kind of drop that out there, y'all. Doesn't have to necessarily mean that you have a business. Get on here, share your ideas, and I will help you cultivate that idea into a business as well. So what we do, um, we have Emage Grant on here. She's a entrepreneur. She is a seamstress, fashionista. She is my personal stylist as well, right? So, met this young lady because I was looking for somebody to actually be in my mastermind and talk about. I think I might end up doing it later on. Talk about the fashion industry and be able to share their expertise on the mastermind. That didn't really work out this particular round, but I think I will do that, and I think I wanted to just be women led. I want to just have ladies on stage. I can go find guys that I do know that's in the fashion industry, especially in Portland. I don't have to drop no names. You guys know who's the big who's everybody know who the clothing brands is in Portland, Oregon, right? You don't have to drop no names. When they get on here, you will know who they are. Um, so I met her and then we linked up. She came to a mastermind, wasn't sure um and what the mastermind was and all that stuff. And end up linking up. And it's the power about being in the room. She got in the room, she met me, she met some other individuals, and now her network has expanded. And right. And we believe that ex exposure equals expansion. So if y'all watching this, write this down because note takers are money makers. So throughout this conversation, you guys should be writing down some notes, right? So one of the things I want to drop for you guys is exposure equals expansion, right? So because she was exposed to new people, new information, new ideas, she have now expanded her reach, her network. And they say what? Your network is your net worth, right? So she have expanded her network. Now she's may end up being. She wasn't in the room. She wouldn't even have me as a client, right? She wasn't in the room. She would not have been able to be on the podcast. This time she actually got to get on stage, right? I only do what I know from my mentors to do. When I went to Texas, one of my mentors, she started talking about Navy Federal. Of course, everybody know I know how to leverage Navy Federal and teach people to do that. And since I'm talking about Navy Federal, my guy flew in all the way from Portland. She just brought me on stage. Had nothing to do with her conference. It was at a hotel. So again, just being in that room, I got presented the opportunity to be on stage because of something that I did that my mentor recognized in me. She did not have to do that. This I did the same thing. And that's one thing my mentor teach me, said if I'm going to mentor you, you have to mentor somebody else. You have to give somebody else the same opportunities that I have given you. All right? So I have done that. So without further ado, I'm going to let Image tell she's going to tell you about who she is, what you do and how long you been doing it.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Emage Grant. I'm the owner of Imagination LLC. I'm basically just a creative fashion house for all things fashion, all things fabric. I do custom designs, alterations, tailoring, styling. I also teach sewing education, and I just started doing credit repair. So I'm your
Mm.
one-stop shop.
One stop shop. Awesome, awesome. I like it. Love it. What got you into sewing and seamstering? Maybe let's start there because I
Yeah.
feel like that is like, that is like the foundation of even saying that I style people, right? It's one thing to say, okay, I can go find outfits from Fashion Nova or going, Forever 21 and hey, anybody can probably dress the mannequin with clothes that's probably on the rack if you got an eye for it, right? But it's another thing to go one step further and say I'm gonna be able to actually make clothes because I feel like even if you do have an eye for it, that's cool. But to actually say that, okay, well, what if I see that outfit that's on a mannequin, but I got a different idea for it, and you can bring that idea to life. That means you got to be able to deconstruct that suit, and maybe I want a red suit with black sleeves, right? Like I like the red suit, but I have this idea of let me put these black sleeves on here, right? And I know with your eye, I know you seen the concert last night and probably seen like how she was styled and you looking at it from a totally different mindset, and somebody saying, "Ooh, shiny outfits, they all match," and you looking like, "Yep, yep." So, what actually got you into the actual sewing part?
So what actually got me into the actual sewing part is my grandmother. So I grew up in the 90s. She was a seamstress. She made all of our clothes. She made a lot of my dresses, my quilts, blankets, like she made everything.
Mhm.
Cause she like saved money doing that back then.
Yep.
So I'll say around the age 8 or 10, I started kind of latching on to her craft a little bit. And I always would ask my grandma to like teach me how to sew. And she would be like, no, I'm not going to teach you, just watch. So, like my early years of sewing, I just watched, just observed how she would thread the machine, how she would cut patterns out, how her accuracy was with her stitches, how she ironed, how she put something that was flat into a 3D thing. So eventually I was like, okay, I think I can do this. So
Hmm.
I'll say around the age 11 or 12, that's when I started designing myself. That's when I was sketching and actually trying to make my own little clothes out of my socks. I would make clothes for my Barbie dolls with my socks, basically. And my
Nice.
grandma hated that I cut up my socks, but she wouldn't buy me fabric. So it's like, how am I going to design with no fabric? So I just always been resourceful. I just used what I had.
Nice. Okay. So like I told you, that was like full circle for me because
Yeah,
my mother was the same way. Back in the day, like, it wasn't a lot of money, resources was scarce, and we didn't really have a lot of high end, like, I don't even say high end, but fashionable and even affordable fashionable stores, right?
yeah,
So I shopped in a lot of the swap meets, you know what I mean? My mother got a JC Penney's, charge card, and
yeah,
that's when I was like, okay, well, I can get a couple things and keep up with, a lot of people. My mother worked two jobs, you know what I mean? So to be able to keep up with the Joneses and keep me, at least somewhat decent in school, so I'm not talked about and teased and stuff like that. You know what I mean? She went and got a charge card, so that's how I end up getting my shoes and stuff like that. But again, she also showed, well, she didn't show me. She was very resourceful in making my clothes as well. So I always seen a sewing machine sitting on my mother's dining room table. I knew where it was at. I think I actually still had to, have that machine and stuff after her passing and stuff. So I always kept that because she always set me down and not even really set me down. She didn't set me down. I sat down. She seen that I had an interest like you, right? I had an interest in it. So I knew how to thread the needle and the sewing machine, how to work the sewing machine, how to turn the little knob to make sure that the needle go right and start it and the pedal and stuff. So I always grew up with the sewing machine as well. So like I said, it was full circle for me and I guess, pretty much have the same story. We watched our elder teach us
Yeah.
without teaching us. And they say the greatest
Yeah.
teacher teaches without teaching. So yeah, she made dresses, her own dresses. She had a fly red dress too. It was just so fly. I remember she made that joint. And it always struck me kind of odd because I'm like, she'll go get these like little booklets that I guess had like the pattern or
Yeah,
the
the pattern.
diagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pattern, right? It had the pattern or had the diagram of how to make the dress and stuff like that. I'm like, what is these little books she get? And then
Yep.
next thing I know, she would literally cut the fabric and then create something. And it was so dope. Like it even had ruffles at the end of the dress and I was like, this is some slick shit. Like, I don't like you're
Magic.
not, yeah, yeah, you're not just sewing a pillow or just making, you really made something out of
Yeah.
nothing. And that was always I think that was probably my first initial introduction into creativity was my mom's watching my mom sew. It wasn't art, it wasn't, I come from a dance background, but it wasn't initially dance. It wasn't any of that. Before I seen Michael Jackson, I seen my mom make a dress. You know what I mean? And she made
Yeah.
my outfits and shirts and stuff like that. I'm like, how did she make this? So yeah, that was pretty interesting. Okay, so you got into sewing. And then after you got into sewing with your grandmother and stuff like that and sewing your socks, that's a very interesting
I
thing
would
because we have to be resourceful.
hand stitch them too. So that's why I'm so good at hand stitching because I've been doing it forever.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, because you said you did mine like that. And that's awesome because and there's something too, is like there people don't understand like Rolls Royces had a Rolls Royce Cullinan and the actual material in the seats that are hand stitched. They're hand stitched. A lot of people think they're maybe were done with a machine, but they're really not, right? So that's a skill set that you have. Um so now fast forward to today, you got into doing this the sewing from your grandmother and stuff like that. Now, what made you continue to own with this passion? Because I believe people purpose don't change, but their passion can change. So let me give you an example. I went from dancing and then I went to revolutionary work, right? Activist work. My purpose was to always give back to people, right? But my passion could change. So I help people throughout dance. I kept kids off the streets. It was a healthy way and outlet for a lot of our inner city youth because we black, we come, our people dance, double dutch, skate, roller skate. We come from things that's going to keep us active, right?
Yeah.
And at a certain point my passion changed and now it was went to more of like, how can I help my people today, right? How can I help my people learn how to make money? Because I see that most of our leaders died broke. Malcolm X died broke. Martin Luther King died broke. Huey Newton died broke. These are some of the greatest activists and people that stood up for us, but they did not have any kind of financial wealth to pass down to their children as well. So we can pass down generational curses just as much we can pass down generational wealth. A lot
Mhm.
of times we've been passing down generational curses, and me and you, we are the ones in our family that's trying to break that. And we are not trying. I will remove that out of our vocabulary. We are the ones that are doing that, right? So what made you continue on with this passion?
It's just always been my passion. I eventually pursued it at a university level. I got my Bachelor of Science in Fashion Design and Merchandising. Mind you, I went to a PWI and I was one of few Black students in the department. So navigating like systemic racism and teachers playing favorites and harsh criticisms. And during that time, I was in a dark period in my life. So it was just a lot to navigate at the time. But I
Mhm.
just always had a passion for clothes. Like I've always been like a very visual person. So if I can see something, I can make it.
Okay, awesome. Explain to the people what is a PWI.
Predominantly white institution.
There you go. Right. We want to make sure that we understand this because it's funny because I don't know if you guys watched this or if you watched it, anybody that's watching, I recommend people watching it. This one because it's funny to me, but it also has an underlying message. Everybody know Medea and Tyler Perry and stuff, but everybody, the guy is Joe.
Oh
Joe is the guy
yeah.
for me. Joe, have you seen this movie? Joe has a movie now. Joe took his grandson on a road trip, right? And the premise of this movie, without giving too much away, is that Tyler Perry has a son. Of course, Tyler Perry is Joe's son, so his grandson. And Tyler Perry raised his son in a predominantly white institution and neighborhood and things of that nature. Tyler Perry walks into the to his son with two white of his white friends talking about colleges, and Tyler Perry's like Morehouse, and they were like, "Nah, Morehouse, that's a weak school, that's a whack school." Tyler Perry's like, that's one of the best HBCUs. The white guy's like, "What's a HBCU?" And it was like, basically it was like, ain't that kind of racist? Like, we're gonna have a predominantly black school. It's kind of like racist towards us because there's not like a predominantly white school. Tyler Perry is like, yeah, all of them are predominantly white institutions. What are you talking about? Yale, Harvard, like, you know what I mean? All these other schools, like, these are actually not Harvard, but these are actually all predominantly white institutions. So what are you talking about? That's absolutely so to kind of like give more context to what you're saying, like you got it, we have to be, honest about where we're at with things. And most institutions were not built by us, which means they were never built to include us, right?
Exactly.
So that's what she meant by that, you guys. All right. So let's see here. So, who were you before your level even of success, and who did you have to become to earn this level of success? So I think that's what I'm asking is like mindset. Who were you before today? I see you got clients. Today you're in masterminds now. Today you are in Seattle doing a credit repair. Like you have multiple businesses. So as a child and a youth, middle school to high school, who were you?
I was a broken, misguided youth.
Mm, mm,
I've always been a good student, I've always been respectful, but I just was in a dark place. I was going through a lot with like family and mental health, and mental
mhm,
health is very important. And back then, we didn't
mhm,
really take it seriously. So, like, I was in a dark space for a very long time. And the
mhm.
fact that I've reached this level of success and I dug myself out of that darkness, it's like very commendable, it takes a lot of
Absolutely.
strength to do that.
It absolutely does. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I remember even for myself, like before this level of success that I have even obtained, um, I was definitely in a dark place. I was shot when I was 16 years old, three times in the chest. Just had a conversation about this because I don't talk about it a lot, but I share it with you guys. Like I was shot three times in the chest when I was 16 years old. um I stopped believing in God. I started believing that, all these bad things is happening to me, then God cannot exist. And that also got fed to me because people would say, well, if God do exist, I think it was even in Boys in the Hood or stuff, then why is homies getting smoked every day? Like you got to understand, people in a certain area will lose their faith in God because of the circumstances and areas that they're in. So when she say being in a dark place, that is a dark place, whether or not you are, religious or not. You can call it heaven or you can call it hell or you can call it just a dark place. When you're constantly seeing your friends die every day, you stop believing and stop having faith in things, and you start really in some ways having more faith in yourself because I'm the only person that can control this outcome. And unfortunately for gang members, they control the outcome by being aggressive. So when we talk about our people being aggressive or gang members and stuff like that, they're victims of their circumstances and area. And I always tell people that your environment is stronger than your nature. Nobody wakes up and want to be a killer. Nobody wakes up and want to be a gang member or anything of that nature, right? But if I'm not a gang member and I walk to the store and a car full of people roll up on me because they got something to prove, they're involved in certain things and they gotta come with prerequisites to do certain things, then one of my friends gets shot or they shoot at us, now I am a victim of my environment and now I have to do what I have to do to survive my environment. So I don't know her full story about the dark background, so I'm just sharing mine. So when I was shot when I was 16, um people say you see a white light. You don't absolutely. I don't. Well, I talked to another guy a few days ago, and we both had the same story. We didn't see any kind of white light, and I died on the operating table. When I got in the ambulance, I knew to keep the lights in the ambulance as long as those things stayed bright. I knew I was good. I don't fully remember the ambulance ride all the way there. My mother was in the ambulance with me. I was coherent. Once I got inside the operating room, I remember they asked me, am I allergic to anything? They stuck me with something and then I went to sleep. I had a blood transfusion. I got hit in my lung as well. Um, and then everything went dark. It went dark. Yeah, there was no bright light. They said I did die, and they brought me back on the table, but I was, I didn't remember anything after they stuck me, so maybe that was it. But after I woke up in the hospital. Was a lot. I was well awake and everything else. And after a few days, I went home. Once I went home and laid in my mother's bed, I had my then girlfriend. She was staying by my side. I went to sleep. I went to sleep, and then that's when something happened. I got pulled into this very dark void, this very dark void, and when I was trying to wake up, I could not wake up. I remember being fully conscious, like trying to like when you wake up in the morning, your mind wakes up first, your brain wakes up first, right? You don't just kind of get up and be like, brain turns on, eyes open, and everything else. You kind of like do something like rub your face, so your mind kind of, your mind got to think it before your arm move, right? So you kind of think like, my eye itch, let me rub my eye. These are all things that your brain is calculating before it actually happened. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. So I'm up and I want to like rub my eye, and I'm like, I just can't move. And I'm like, oh, this is different. All right. And as I'm trying to move more and realizing more and more I can't move, it's almost like it was like swimming. The more you try to fight to swim, the more you actually are damaging yourself, and then you start to panic, and that's when you drown. That's what the feeling was like, um so yeah, I was shot when I was 16. I tried to wake up, and I want to say when I was going through that particular situation, if I would have just let it happen and just stay asleep, I probably would have died in that bed, because that's the closest to death what it feel like. So it wasn't a bright light. It was actually absolute darkness. So when she say be in a dark place, sometimes the best things could come out of these dark places, because look where we're at now, right?
Yeah.
So, yep, just wanted to give that little bit of testimony. I've never shared that with anybody, so you
Yeah, that
guys
was deep.
take that. uh, what's a hard truth about entrepreneurship nobody warned you about?
Let me think about that. I'll say for me, just initially getting an idea and turning it into like an actual product or a brand. Like even though I went to college for this, they did not teach us how to do that. I had to learn it by myself.
Mm,
Learn how to be an entrepreneur by myself.
hmm. All
So
right.
like how to take like an idea, a concept, and then put it into reality. That's what I'm
Hmm.
trying to say.
Okay. How to cultivate that idea and turn
Yeah.
that into something that is tangible, and something that, not only that you can see, but it's it's the thing about entrepreneurship too, and that's for me personally as well, is being able to take an idea, cultivate that idea, bring that idea to fruition, and now not only is it an idea, I have to build infrastructure around this idea now, right? Because there's so many things that goes into entrepreneurship and into a business. You have to have your credit right?
Yep. Didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, you gotta, yeah, didn't know that. Didn't know that was a part of it, right? You gotta
Hmm.
have your business structure right. This is the thing about business people don't teach you, because a lot of times people say, go get an EIN, just go to your Secretary of State, get an EIN, and then you have a business. Like, listen, you guys, that's not how that works. You gotta have an EIN, articles of organization. You gotta have your NAICS code. If you don't know what that NAC code is, that is a classification that every EIN comes with. So if you have food and hospitality, that has a certain number. Now, if that number is incorrect because the person behind the screen it entered it into a different classification, when you go to apply for funding, they're going to give you an automatic denial, because hey, you're in consulting, but your NAICS code says that it's construction. So you need to
Hmm.
fix that. So you won't
Yeah.
even be able to get funding if this code is incorrect. Um, you use your home address. instead of having a brick and mortar or having a virtual address. Now, if you use your home address, you want to make sure that it's sectioned off and you're saying this particular room or something is my office and it's an office space. Now, the thing about listing your home address is banks don't do business with people that do they use their home address, number one. For two, if you put your business as your home address now becomes public information. So
Mm-hmm.
unless you want disgruntled customers finding out where you live at and all this other stuff, then you probably wouldn't want to use your home address and you should use a virtual address if you do not have a brick and mortar. So these are things like she said, I had to learn the hard way. I just got me a EIN and say, hey, I have me a business. Let me call this bank and say, I want some money. They start asking for documentation. I was like, what is that? What are you
Right.
talking about? Right. So they say, your articles of organization, like they want to know who, if it's not just you, who else owns the business? And I'm like, I ain't got that piece of paper. I don't know what that is. Right. They said just go to the Secretary of State. EIN is free. You don't even have to pay for that. Right. So, hey, I got me a business. Right. But I didn't have all these other things. And then I go backtrack and realize these pieces of paper cost 200 to $300 a piece. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
ah, damn. And then setting it up online, I didn't have a virtual address. You guys, when you guys set your address, your business up, I go through a website called Busy. They set everything up for you, but they're going to immediately ask, what's your home address? They're going to ask you what's your business address. If you don't have a virtual address set up prior to this, logically you would just put your home address, right? Then you got to go redact it. So now when you put your home address on there, you don't have any space now to say that I have a virtual address. So yes, I use my home address when I first started my first business. I just got an EIN and I didn't get anything else. All right. So now my home address was listed as public information. Uh, I couldn't get any kind of business funding because that was that. Then I didn't have all these other pieces of papers, all these other documentation. So I didn't get any kind of business funding. So like you said, like she said, we didn't learn these things by somebody teaching us. We learned on our own. And this is the power of mentorship now. Because I learned the hard way and went to this particular way, I went and sought out mentorship. I went and got the information that I needed so I can fast track my way to success and not go through all of these loopholes. Because this is the thing, right? People will always ask and say, how much does it cost? How much is Emage service? How much does it cost to have you? To learn from you, credit repair, or to learn from me about business stuff, right? Giving you guys all these gems. My answer to him always will be, how much you think it's going to cost you if you don't have this information? And I guarantee you guys, it's going to cost you a lot more trying to figure things out on your own because you have an ego and you don't want to pay anybody than it is to say that I'm going to pay you X amount of dollars to learn from you so that I can fast track my way to success and not run into all these situations. A lot of times people don't get into entrepreneurship. And for me to answer that question, people didn't warn me about is that the power of mentorship, the power of learning from somebody that's already at the place and level that I aspire to be. See, y'all, I don't know what y'all, I don't know if y'all understand. I pay for relationships. I have no problem paying for relationships. You might feel like you're not paying for relationships, and that might be something that you're not into. But I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. Everybody time costs. And the more you deal with entrepreneurs that's making six, seven, eight figures, they understand that more than anybody. So what you initially would be paying for is their time. But we like to say, that's a tuition towards the lifestyle, the life that you want. That's your tuition. She went to school. Did your school cost when you went there?
Yes, it did every semester.
Every semester costs, right? But
Mhm.
somehow we have a problem with paying somebody who's having $1 million month to learn from them, but we have no problem with giving our money to a institution and probably to somebody that don't look like us, right?
Mhm.
So that's the thing for me is that nobody really warned me and told me that if you get mentorship, you will be able to, be in a better place. And again, if your mentor don't have a mentor, you should get another mentor. You should get another mentor. Because like I said, my mentor tells me all the time that if I mentor you, you got to mentor somebody else. It is your duty now to pass this information down, right? I go in masterminds, thousands of dollars to be in these particular events, and these are $1 million rooms, right? Um, it is my job to take this information and pass it down to my children, pass it down to people that I know, pass it down to Image, right? Pass it down to you guys that's watching this video because everybody can't get in those rooms. And I understand this. And it's only going to be a selective few that can get into these rooms that want to be in these rooms. And it's our job to pass that information down. Okay. All right. Let's see. When everything slows down, what keeps you locked in?
Just the next big thing. Like I'm always giving myself something to look forward to, whether it be an opportunity, a collaboration, an idea, design. Like I just always try to stay hopeful.
Nice,
Something
nice.
is coming, you know?
Right, right. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, let's see. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know what I just stay locked in. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
kind of
really know no other way
it.
now. Huh?
That I'd be like tunnel vision, like I just be one track mind.
Yeah, I'll be one track mind. I know they asked me at the mastermind, right? Like how do you what they say? How do you reset or something, something of that
Yeah.
nature, right? And I
Mhm.
don't even know. Like my reset is like you said, like being creative, right? Let me see. I'm gonna give my guy some publicity today. I usually say I wasn't gonna do this with the brands and stuff, but um, so when I get, my reset is that I take a break from like all of the laptop work, the calls and dealing with the people and stuff, and I get into my creative bag. I get into my creative bag. And what did I say? My first introduction into creativity was fabric and design. So I don't know if everybody know this particular brand, but this is my guy Black Mannequin, right? So we got a collaboration and deal going on that I'm creating these. I don't know if I can see it, creating these hats for him, right? So I just started to create these hats. So I would sit down and I would just like start to get into my creative bag and stuff of that nature. You know what I mean? And that's how I like reset. But I also do reset because when my granddaughter's here, I usually don't work and I just have fun with her. You probably can hear this. She just got here just like a few minutes ago and she back there laughing with her daddy and her grandma. So I reset and I play with her, and that she allows me to be a child again. My kids are pretty grown and they help dad out. So they know when we out, they holding the phone doing content and doing other stuff. So it's like it's fun for me to do the content stuff, but it's also still work. So they work with me. But when it's her, it's like, nah, we fighting and wrestling and you know, tea time and playing with toys and stuff like that. So that's like my reset. Um, what does winning actually mean to you now versus when you started? Ooh, that's a good one, especially for you. Like, that's a good one.
Yeah, so when I first started, I guess I'll say winning for me is, oh, I'm gonna make a whole bunch of money. I'm just gonna be this big name, like, the ego, getting big.
Yeah, yeah.
But now winning for me is, yes, not only attaining wealth, but being able to sustain it and teach others how to attain it.
I don't know if is that what they do?
Clock it. Yeah, clock
Clock it. All right.
it.
Got you.
Yeah.
I wasn't even looking for that answer, but that's like, I'm glad you said that. That's it. That's it right there. Is being able to help others. Yeah, I think that's where I started out too. Because I mean, that's our why, right? That's like, I guess, answer your question. What is your why back then? Your why, I want to make money. I want to be able to make a life and a living off of something that I love to do. One, and yeah, I want to make some money. That's it. Nobody gets in business to not make money. So let's just be fucking real. Let's just
Yeah.
be 100% real. Nobody gets in business to not make money. Like, I don't know, not one, even Goodwill. Goodwill is the one of the most geniusest business that I ever have seen in their model because I haven't seen it done yet, right? Um, well, I guess is it done? I guess it could probably been duplicate. No, it's not done because I could take stuff to a thrift store and sell it, and then they can turn around and resell it. But Goodwill is the only place that takes donations for absolutely free, turn around and sell it, and since it's a nonprofit, they don't pay taxes.
Yeah, I've seen nothing else like it.
I seen nothing else like that. I want y'all to hear that again. They take in donations, free items, absolute drop off a TV, laptop. You know, Goodwill got everything in there, electronics section, clothing, books, all jewelry, all this stuff, right? And they take that stuff and then they turn, since it's a, they take that stuff and they sell it. So that means they're turning a profit every single day. They're making millions of dollars. And now Goodwill is not an LLC. Goodwill is absolutely a nonprofit organization. That's why they take donations, right? So being a nonprofit, they don't have to pay taxes on the stuff that they're selling. I've just never seen their business model done before. You know what I mean? So, oh yeah, that's crazy. I'm just gonna leave that alone because I need to figure that just made me feel I need to figure my life
Yeah,
out. I need to
that's
figure something
my
out. I need to take something for free and turn around and sell it.
goal.
Ooh, that's a
Okay.
markup, right? We got you, me and her, we got something called overhead.
Mm,
Whatever that may be for you, right? We got some kind of overhead. We pay for something. I don't care if it's an app on our phone for Canva because we're going to make our stuff or
I'm
Chat
tired of
GPT
paying
so it
for
can make we
stuff.
gotta make something for content or something. We pay for something. All right. Oh, what's your first real scalable move and why did it work?
Hmm. I'll say my first scalable move was just basically saying and telling people that what I offer, what I do.
Hmm.
Because at first it was kind of like a secret. It's kind of like, do I really want to tell people I do this, or do I want to just keep this to myself? So I'll say
Hmm.
that was that for me.
Okay, I like that. I think that's something people don't talk about a lot when we talk about scale. When we talk about scale, it's like, how did you go from $100 business to $1,000 business, from $1,000 business to $100,000 business, and all the way up, right? Like that means that well, I scaled my business because now I'm running ads, which means I'm paying for ad spend, which means to go further into what you're saying. When you pay for ads, only thing you're paying for is how to get more eyes on your product, right? Because here go another bar for y'all should be writing down. I'm not sure how many I said so far, but if they don't know you, they can't flow you, right?
Exactly.
So the more eyes you get on your product, and a lot of you guys got a lot of great ideas, got a lot of great products, and a lot of great services, but not a lot of people know what you do. So when we talk about scaling, the first level of scaling is what? Marketing,
Yeah.
marketing and branding, right? And I want people to understand there's a difference between marketing and promoting. Marketing is marketing a service or product that you have that people do not know about. Promoting is promoting a product and service or product that people are already aware of, and you're just reminding them that we have this going on. Cardi B already had a concert coming up. She just needed promotion, right, to let people know I'm coming to you. And I think it's in that same video, she said, I'm Washington, I'm coming. That was just promotion, right?
Mhm.
Her marketing would be her music, her initial rollout to her tour, right? To let people know these are the cities that I'm coming to. This is the thing that I'm having going on. Now, as her concert is going, I'm pretty sure she had marketing inside of there, which means you can buy merchandise, clothing, shirts, and things of that nature, right? That is all marketing. It's already inside of something that's already going on. There's literally a concert. As she's performing, you can go outside and go buy a t-shirt. That's marketing and branding. All right. Now, when you are promoting something, you guys, you are promoting something that people, like she said, people have no awareness about. She wasn't sure she wanted to talk about and put her brand out there to people that was not already aware of it. Now, maybe some friends and family knew what she was doing, right? But the general masses did not know. So she had to get in the room, she had to talk to people, and she had to inform people, and she had to put things online to let people know this is what I do. That is promoting her brand, promoting her work. All right. So just wanted to clarify what that is because I think a lot of times people get confused on the two. Like, man, my marketing, my promoting, I'm promoting. I'm like, I don't think you guys kind of know what the difference is. So I wanted to let you guys know that that's what the difference is. And she's right. That's definitely a scalable thing because even in the world of like running ads, I run ads. At some level, you're going to scale that ad up. Do you want to reach 100 people? It's going to take this X amount of dollars. Do you want to reach 10,000 people? It's going to take a little bit more money, which means you're scaling up. You want to reach 1 million people, it's going to be that much more money, right? So a lot of people think that it also they making their first $1 million hard. It's not that hard, you guys. You just need to sell $1,000 product to 1,000 people.
Mhm.
Just think about that. How do you reach 1,000 people though? If the law of averages say that I reach 10,000 people and then do a 10% of that, that's 1,000 people, then I say $1,000 product to 1,000 people, right? If you can figure out a way to for you for imagine for you, right? Like you said, I was telling you about those platforms that can hold courses, right? Now, you figure out a way to package up a course, a mastermind, and a done with or done for you business, right? Maybe somebody want to get into a business and you package this thing up for maybe 997. That's $1,000. Round up, and you have an add-on for $17 that they can actually get your ebook. There go your $1,000. Right? So now they get your course or they get your program for 997, the full program for 997. Now we have something what's called a order bump. A order bump in a funnel would be when you guys go to a grocery store and you go check out. Maybe you spend $200 on groceries, but what's at the checkout stand? A lighter, candy, soda, all these last minute items that you can buy on your way out. So when you have a funnel, you purchase a 997 product, then you have a $17 order bump, which could be a ebook or a PDF or something of that nature, right? Or maybe even a one-on-one call, a consultation call, right? Or something of that nature. There go your $1,000. You just need to have a good product and you figure out again how to get ads, run ads, or get 1,000, maybe 10,000, or however many people eyes on your particular funnel on your product, and you sell $1,000 product 1,000 times. There go your money right there. There go your $1 million right there. Right. So the problem is how long we're gonna stick to it to do it. That's just it. Right. So just want to give you guys that little bit of game, and that she's absolutely right. So I want you guys to think when you're scaling, scale your brand and your marketing first before you try to like say I'm gonna make so much more money. I'm gonna dump money because that's the thing too. People dump a lot of money into their business thinking they need to do X, Y, Z and get like a lot of product first, right? Clothing brand, they would probably get a lot of t-shirts first before you market it. So stuff. Now you got boxes of clothes and nobody know anything about you even having a damn clothing brand right now, right? That
Yep.
sounds crazy to have 15 boxes of clothes and nobody know that you even started a clothing line. So brand yourself first. Scale your brand first,
Yep.
then do that. Or pre-sale. Pre-sale means you have to scale your marketing and branding first. I mean, you're telling people before you even take an order. Now you got to order before you got product. At least that way you know I got to fulfill 500 orders. Then you need to get 500 t-shirts done. Not
Hmm.
having 10,000 t-shirts and throwing shit against the wall to see if it stick to see who's going to buy it. Right?
Yep.
What's your personal rule? Who? This is a good one for you. This is your personal rule about debt, leverage, or credit. It can be either one. Debt, leverage, or credit. And let me explain. You guys know that there is good debt, there is bad debt. She'll understand when we leverage certain debt, that means our debt is making us money, right? So I just want to clarify at least the debt part up. So either debt, leverage, or credit. Your personal rule.
Mm. I'll say my personal rule for debt is don't create more debt than you can pay. Do not, because you will forever be digging yourself out of that hole.
hmm
Then the money that you're spending to pay off the debt, you could have used to invest in something else. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. What you think about leverage? Your personal rule about leveraging.
leveraging debt.
Mhm.
Mm, I'll say it's good to have, a little bit of debt. It shows that you can handle a debt, pay it off, show your payment history, actually,
Mhm.
make the commitment to the debt. Because some people will just let it sit there and just collect uh
Fact.
the little extra fees, and it's just growing instead of it being controlled.
Yeah, that's a
That's what I
fact.
think people like mistake, because I have history in like banking or whatever. So when I used to work for Chase, when I worked on the credit side, I would see people have like $20,000 credit lines, but they're not managing it right.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to know how to manage your debt right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's the thing, you guys, especially especially becoming entrepreneurs, really the only way that you guys are going to be able to scale up, and I haven't seen this done any other way, is learning how to manage debt and how to leverage debt.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We leverage what's called OPM. So write that down. OPM stands for other people's money. That is the way that we scale our business because we save the earned income and we leverage the bank's money to make us more money. So let me explain. Wouldn't it make more sense for me to say that if I have one LLC and I can show you guys how to get 60, let's just say $60,000, $60,000 in one day, right? $60,000 in one day. I can tell you guys how to create an LLC, get it all the way structured, get everything, your credit, of course, already over. So let's skip over the hard part. Everything is ready to go. I can show you how to go to the bank, to one bank in one day, because I know where this bank is pulling from Experian, right? The second bank is going to pull from Equifax. The second bank is going to pull from TransUnion, right? Our third bank will pull from TransUnion. So you go to the first bank, and because they're going to run your personal credit, you're going to get a ding on your credit on your personal side, right? But you get $20,000 out of this bank and they pull from Experian, right? Now, what happens with that inquiry on your personal side? We delete it and take it off because there's no money attached to it. Remember, the money is only attached to your business side. So we delete the inquiry. What do? We go to a second bank, and because they can't see that inquiry, right? Now you run and you duplicate the process and you ask for another 20,000. So now you get a $20,000 out of another credit union. We do the same process. Delete in 24 hours. We delete that inquiry, right? With the 24-hour deletion removal method. We delete that inquiry. Then we go to a third bank and duplicate that same process. TransUnion, they can't see the inquiry, remove it. Now you got $60,000. Now let's say you got everything in order and you already marketed your business. People know that you have a trucking company and you have a courier company, right? Now you're doing medical carrier. So now you're able to go take that $60,000 in a line of credit. You're able to go take that money, put it towards a van or a truck. Now that truck is now an asset put into your business name and is out making you money, which is now paying back your credit, paying back that credit, right? And now once that credit is paid off, you're now is making all the earned income. And you did not make and spend any money of your hard-earned money to get this truck, create this LLC. It was all done off the bank's money. How long would it take for you guys to save up $60,000 in your 9 to 5 to gamble on this particular business and if it's going to work? You guys, it's easier to go to the bank and get $60,000 than it is to save $60,000. All right. So that's what we mean by debt, good debt and bad debt. You do not want to get in, like she said, bad debt and get in something that you can't pay. That's dangerous, right? So taking all these lavish trips and going to spend all this money on things that's not making you money back, leveraging it, not leveraging it, then you can find yourself inside of a hole. So we're here to give you guys information as well. All right. So it makes more sense for you guys to start a business and learn how to leverage that debt so that it can make you money. All right. So yeah, you can get $60,000 out of the bank all in one day. All in one day. Does that make sense? Would you agree?
Yes.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. So she cleans credit. So if you guys need your credit clean, go see her so she can clean your credit up. And you can come talk to me about getting some business funding. And then we can move you up into like, getting your business set up, and maybe again you guys got this see this video and you guys got an idea about some business, but you don't know how to get started. Contact us. I'll leave the contact information in the description. All right. Woo, what's one financial decision you'll never repeat?
Hmm. Let me think about that. I'll say one financial decision I do not plan on repeating is overspending on like luxury items. Like I feel like I'm okay with the basics, you know? Like
Mhm.
I feel like everything's made the same way, it just has a label. Whose label costs the most? That's basically all it is.
Yeah, yeah,
Not being getting fooled by the false advertising and the what's the word? I can't remember what it's called. The that's not like deception, but it's kind of like
Mhm.
deception. It's like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I know you're paying and buying it to somebody's, I guess kind of like perception of like what they
Luxury
deem
is,
luxury
yeah.
is. Yeah,
Yeah,
what they deem luxury
exactly.
is.
Yeah.
That's based upon their perception of what they deem luxury is, and then they sell it. It's actually called it's a word for it. I forgot the name of it. I gotta really study it more so I can really have that founded. But it's almost to say like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, and all this other stuff, like even Lamborghini or like Rolls Royce. You don't see commercials for these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way this theory works is that oh, I gotta look it up. I put it in the description as well. But the way that it works is that you have they figured out a way to have a cognitive way to make you purchase things
Mm-hmm.
before you even know that you really want to purchase it, right? So now
Yeah.
we want a Ferrari, we want a Lamborghini, but we don't see commercials for it. So why would I want it? So you convince me that somehow that this is a luxury item that I should have if I want luxury. You convince me that that's what luxury looks like, even by convincing me that I'm not even going to show it to you. That's a subconscious thing. You guys never seen a
Yeah.
Rolls Royce commercial, right? But they convince you that this $300,000 car, $500,000 car is something that you should get when you obtain a certain level of success and money. You want
Mm-hmm.
to get a Rolls Royce, 500,000. Okay. Well, I never even seen a commercial. Don't even never even been in one. Why would I want it? So
Yeah.
a lot of times as well, let's go down to a lower level. Fashion Nova. Y'all drop a number one in the chat when you see this. How many of you guys have purchased from Fashion Nova or from Sheen have no idea who the owner is, have no idea where the stuff is even coming from. But for some reason, one of the biggest brands that we know to sell clothing online is Fashion Nova and Sheen, and we have no idea who even owns it, nor do we ever research it. But you convinced me this is something that I need to invest in my time and my money in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, One thing for me as well, I would agree with her. When I got my first lump sum, I went out and bought a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't need to buy. And it was through Verizon, honestly. It was through cell phone. I got convinced to buy, oh, credit was good. You can walk out of the store, pay zero. I'm like, I got everybody in the family some phones. The three boys got tablets. They convinced me even to get some kind of thing that goes in my car to track miles or lower my insurance. Some
Yeah.
kind of crazy shit. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell is? Why did I need that in my car? Well, it didn't do nothing for me, right? And just to kind of think like, I don't. Now we still paying this high ass bill. I'm not gonna kid y'all. My cell phone bill is easy around $1,000 to $2,000 a month,
Eeh.
just because I got so many lines on the thing, and it's like again, that thing that went inside my car, that was a line. It went to a phone number. It was a line of service. The
Mhm.
tablets was a line of service. So because I got this lump sum, like, okay, Christmas time, you guys, Christmas time. That's something I would never do again because we don't have all those phones. It's not really worth the service. And now when I'm looking at money and what needs to scale back, that's like one of the largest bills that we feel like this, why did we do that? Why did I do this?
Yeah.
But the credit was good, money was there. Like, let's just do it, right? Lady was a good saleswoman. She got us. She got me. He's a good saleswoman. So that's the thing I wouldn't do. If I would have took that money and created LLCs for my children and invested it, like she said, differently, for them, it would have paid out better in the long run. It would have paid
Yeah.
out even better in the long run. So you guys, when you get your first little lump sum in your check or whatever you got going on, just like make sure that you guys are understanding what it is that you have going, right? Let's see here. Uh, how do you say present at home while building at a high level? So even at home, right? What is your relaxation? What is your home life like outside when you are building? Because you're building an
Yeah.
empire. You working with individuals. You got a 24-hour turnaround time on my stuff out getting off of work, and I have to call you. Like, I wasn't worried about it, but I was like, oh, damn. What did I get myself into? This is 24 hours. What if something happened? And life happens, right? Life,
Yeah.
like life
Yeah.
happens. And like she probably can't even get to it today or something like that. So like when you're building something so unique, something so grand, because if you could do something in a 24 hour, you can do credit. Our clients will love a 24-hour
Yeah.
turnaround time.
Okay.
It's something they took 10 years to mess up.
Yeah.
The first thing gonna ask you, right? How long till I get an 800 credit score? How long
Uh-huh.
this
They
gonna
want to
take?
know.
I'm like, damn, bro, you took 10 years before you to even get here. Now you want me to clean it up like that,
Right. Yeah.
right? So yeah, so what does your home life look like? Like, how do you stay present at home?
So I'm still working on that. Honestly, I'm normally working in bed. Like the other night, I was at Alberta Street Pub. I whipped out my laptop. It's music, people playing, drinking, smoking.
Oh my God.
But what I'm learning is I have to be intentional about my rest, my breaks. Because if I don't make time for like a vacation or like just like a night of fun, I won't get it, and then I'll burn myself out, burn out my creativity, get irritated, and that's not what I want to do. So normally what I do to ground myself, I'll either like take a walk outside or like get in a hot tub, just like feel my body again, because I'm so used to like the outside stimulation. I work a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And then when I get home, I'm doing my business. I'm finishing orders, taking orders, responding to emails, calls, texts, social media, content. So like,
Mhm.
yeah, just being intentional about making space and time for myself.
Right, right. Wow. Yeah, I love that answer. That's intentionality is like one of the main things that I know as us as entrepreneurs and anybody that's watching and want to be entrepreneurs or you are entrepreneurs, please give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. Give yourself time to like just be in the moment. Cause like she said, yeah, we don't stop working. Like I could be on vacation somewhere and cool, we at Vegas at a cabana, but I'm gonna probably have my laptop out or at least be on my phone shooting some kind of content or getting something done. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
work don't stop for us. We quit our 9 to 5. Well, we ain't quit our 9 to 5. We still have our jobs.
Yeah.
And but when you start to work for yourself, you are working 24/7. And the mission is to buy back our time so we can have less time for us to work. You know what I mean? Which means like for her example, she probably would get a team of people that can actually trust and that will be able to sew and create and put together the designs that she create, which then allows her to just create more and then have them produce
Yep.
it, right?
Yep.
So that's where she would get the time to just do what she's great at and create, right? Then she can maybe at that point scale and have a team of creators and designers that can design and bring her the designs and stuff. And now all she gotta do is approve.
Mm-hmm.
Get it to where it need to go, put it into production, get it approved. I'm pretty sure Versace, Louis Vuitton, whoever is like really up there making the decisions ain't down in the factory creating and not down in the factory producing, right? They're just bringing their people, got a team of people that's going to even bring it. I'm gonna hire some designers. They gonna take the design and get it approved, and then they gonna send it down to the production team, right? Then bring me back some models and some SketchUps and something I
Yeah.
can pick up and hold in my hand and look at,
Yep.
right? So that's like where we want to eventually be at. But for right now, yeah, we work in a 9 to 5, and our job is our first business partner. Let your job fund your business till your business can fund your freedom. There go another bar. All right. But yes, give yourself grace, and be intentional about really taking that time to say that. I do need a reset, whatever that looks like for you. Reset. All right. So before we get up out of here, um, before we get up out of here, let me see. Let me give me a good one. Um, Before we get up out of here, what are you building that will outlive you?
My brand is gonna outlive me. Like I plan on scaling really big. Like I would love to have my own warehouse, factory, like just the whole nine. I want to
Absolutely.
be big like Louis Vuitton and Rihanna's brand, Fenty. Like I want to be up there.
There you go. There you go. So her brand will outlive her. Her
It would for
brand and her
sure.
legacy will outlive you. You guys got a born date. I know you guys have been to funerals. Got a born date. You got a death date, right? You got a transition date. You have that line in the middle. That line in the middle is your lifeline, and you got to decide what are you going to do within this time span that you have, right? And if you are watching this video, today is the day for you to be inspired by this call and take action and say, I'm going to maximize every hour, every minute of my day to be the best person, the greatest person that I can possibly be. That means if you guys ask me a lot of money that I invest into my business, I would invest more into my personal development. The better person that I can be for myself, the best person I can be for my business. There's a lot of business owners out there that have a lot of great businesses and making a lot of money, but they have improper handling of people.
Yeah,
Okay.
terrible
With
people skills.
yeah, horrible with people, right? Of course, yeah, you got millions of dollars, but you're horrible with people and you can't keep nobody into the business. The business is just really on autopilot, right? But you have horrible, people skills. So for me, people is the business. People is our business. So I have to have proper handling of people, which means I got to have emotional intelligence, emotional regulation,
Yep,
conflict resolution,
yep,
right? I have to have all these things, and then that transfers into my home life as well, right? So I'm gonna have even more patience at home, which probably I typically wouldn't because I'm dad. I'm just on dad duty. I gotta now differentiate when to be dad and when to be the business owner. And when I'm the business owner, I have a little bit more leniency because these are people that I have to be professional with, right? Which means I have to be professional with my children, do what the hell I say do. But I don't want to lead like that.
mhm,
Understand what I'm saying that I need to get done so that you can have a full understanding of what's being required and asked of you so that we can make a calculated decision on what we need to do so we can move effectively, right? So with that being said, having effective communication as
yep,
well. There's communication, then there's ineffective and effective communication. When you have proper handling of people, you have a good dialogue. We have an effective communication right now. If we was having ineffective communication, we'll be arguing, debating, and all this other stuff, and nobody's
yeah,
getting anywhere, right? Nobody. We agree that time we agree to disagree, right? We having all that stuff. Then you have things that you just feel like you just in dictatorship, right? So I don't want to be that for my family, so I have to learn over here and then bring it over to my family. Also, can't be with my family so stern that I'm just like telling my clients, yeah, you want your credit done. This is how it's going to be. This is what it's going to be. And I don't want to care nothing about, so I don't want to be like that. So more personal development you guys can like invest into yourself would be the best thing. So any last words you want to leave to any aspiring entrepreneurs, anybody that is want to come up into your particular industry as well, any advice that you would have for them?
yes, I would say take your time. Don't rush. Don't think that you're gonna go from A to Z in 2 days. I've been designing over 20 years. I've been operating my business for 6 years and I've made a lot of mistakes. You're gonna make mistakes, you're not gonna know stuff, but invest in your education and invest in yourself always.
Absolutely, you guys. My last thing I will say to you guys is to fail forward and fail fast. Fail forward and fail fast. A lot of times we will like stop doing things because we're afraid, or not even get started because we're afraid of failure. One, two, when things adversity comes, a lot of times people going to quit. you're going to stop. It's not going to feel good all the time. Entrepreneurship is not going to always feel good, you guys. So when I would say, if you're, especially if you're young, fail fast. That way you can get those learning curves. That's where you learn at. That's where your growth is at, is in failure. You don't grow from doing everything correctly. Where would you ever even grow at if you're just doing things and it's working 100% of the time, 100% of everything that you do, right? So that's where you learn, is in your failure. So fail forward, which means when you fail, continue to go forward and fail fast. That way, success loves speed. The more you fail, the faster you fail, the faster you're going to get on track with the things that you need to be, that need to be fixed, and then you correct those things, and then you will be able to move, a lot, things will move a lot smoother for you. So don't quit, stay consistent. Remember, it's a marathon. Like she said, you're not going to be there in 2 weeks. It's not going to happen. If you're not ready to put 10 years into a business and not see anything from it, then maybe entrepreneurship is not for you. And again, that's okay. You should be okay with that as well. All right. So adversity builds character, and you guys keep pressing forward. Tell everybody where they can find you at.
So you guys can find me on Facebook at Emage Grant. You can also find me on Instagram at BabyJ, BABYYJAEE. And I'm also on TikTok. My tag there is JuicyJ06. So JuicyJaeE06.
Awesome, awesome. All right, you guys. So I'm gonna leave all her links. Also, even if she said it, I'm gonna leave all her links in the description below. This will be on YouTube and other places as well. You guys, make sure you guys follow me, Mr. Three the Hard Way, across all platforms. That's Mr. MR, the number three, and then Hardway across all platforms. All right. So I appreciate you today. We've been waiting for this interview for like a
Yeah.
month or so. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
ready. I was ready.
Hey, you was ready, man. Yeah, you came with the fire today. You had some very good answers. So I definitely appreciate you. Once this is up, I will let you know. You can use it for content, use it for marketing and stuff as
Yeah.
well. I always use my platform or drop it inside the school community. It will be inside the school community, actually. So yeah, you guys, salute. Become business owners. If you don't do anything else, try to own something. I don't care what it is. Own your name, LLC, your name. If you want to know more about that, comment below and I'll be able to talk to you in the description. All right, you guys.
Peace.
Yeah.